Coming to you live.
Yes, live.
Welcome to the Ref Room.
Hockey talk for parents, players, coaches, and fans.
Text everyone you know. Facebook, chat, tweet, buzz, bling. I don't know. Just do what you have to do.
This is the Ref Room with Scott and Brad.
Come on, come on, come on. It's about to go down.
The Ref Room starts right now.
It starts right now. Welcome, everybody. I am Scott Smokin Silz, joined with my man, Brad Baumruck. There you go.
That was from you joking in the pre-show.
Yeah, he does need a nickname, of course, just like the rest of us. But I want to welcome him. He's got his peanut butter and jelly sandwich ready to go. It's Wednesday, time to eat and drink with us here in the Ref Room. We've got a couple special guests joining us today. It's been a pretty good hockey week overall last week. Big tournament weekend, lots of stuff going on. We've got a couple guys that are going to join us today that work the Nationals. And so let's, should we just bring those guys in right now? We might as well.
Sure.
Let's welcome
USA.
Scott Gaffney and my man, Dave Cannon. Welcome to the show, guys. How you doing?
Good.
Oh, good. They can speak. That's amazing. Usually these guys are not quiet. So, we see if they're a little camera shy today or what. But anyway, they just got back from Nationals. They worked the National High School Tournament, and our friends at New Trier did very well. They got to the finals. I can't believe somebody actually shut them out. I mean, how good must that team be to be able to shut New Trier out? That team is a powerhouse. So what was it like, guys?
Good, Scott.
You want me to go first?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Overall, it was a great time. I mean, just think about, we as people want to go on vacations. Think about going on a vacation with a bunch of hockey guys and working games and drinking beer.
It doesn't get any better than that.
You don't think so, Cannon?
Well, you know what? Like the hockey was exceptional all weekend. A lot of great teams from all across the country. The hockey was only a part of it. I think what was exceptional for me was meeting several new officials nationwide who I've never met before, seeing some new supervisors who've had multiple decades experience on the ice, just feedback from them, and meeting the new officials, and then doing some extracurricular activities was totally surreal as well. So hockey was great. The extracurricular activities were great, and so I couldn't complain.
Sounds good. So Scotty, go ahead, Brent.
Can you guys explain when this process technically started for USA Hockey? Because a lot of people don't know how it is, and they miss emails and they don't respond to them. So can you point out how this works and how the selection process goes and how the emails come back and how important it is to be watching your email box?
Good.
Funny thing for me is I actually never get emails from USA Hockey. I don't know how to fix that problem. And it was on this ref room, I think somebody put in the chat, or maybe Brad was talking about, hey, BJ sent out an email. And it was another year where I was like, I didn't get the USA Hockey National email. So that's when I reached out to BJ. So kind of to your point, it's pretty important to know when those emails come out. If it wasn't for this right here, I would have never saw it.
You got lucky.
Yeah.
I got lucky. So
I know when that email came out, I almost missed it because it was like titled like interest. It was something that I didn't expect it to be in. And I know a lot of people just kind of deleted it on accident, but I'm one of those people. I click on every USA Hockey email I get, every affiliate email, every IHOA email. So, it's super important to pay attention. And that's the reason I'm pointing this out, because we got lucky that we brought it up, and they're great at USA or, almost any assigner for anything. If you reach out to them, they'll get you the information that you're looking for, or they'll say, hey, we're not really that interested. Sorry, you don't meet this or that or whatever. But sorry, keep going. I apologize.
No, I mean that was kind of it for me. I think, you send along your information, and there's a lot to do with who knows you and kind of maybe some input from local signers and things of that nature, just kind of word of mouth and obviously previous national championship that you worked. But to note for me, I've never worked one before. I think Cannon has, and maybe he's seen the process evolve over the years.
Well, I think overall,
go ahead.
Just you got to keep looking around in your email, about this time of the year when the season's wrapping up, and like Brent, there's a ton of emails that come out from everybody, especially from USA Hockey with interest forms and so forth, and it's just something to stay ahead of. I usually stock stuff in my inbox with that, and so obviously when it came out, and I was available, COVID's kind of put a damper on a lot of games here in Illinois, obviously. So with the ability to travel a little bit here and there, it was a great experience to go.
So what's the selection process, Brad? Do you know how that works?
Yeah,
Who determines who's going?
After you put in your interest, then there's an email that's sent to our central district referee in chief, and that's in all the areas. Then that filters out to the affiliates. So like in our case, IHOA, so that goes to our referee in chief, and then our referee in chief either A, knows who's on there that's interested, right, or B, they know somebody that knows them. And then there's quite a few people that, they reach out to along the way. And, lucky Scott and Dave are pretty easy. Everybody knows who they are. I mean, if you don't know who the two of these guys are, you probably haven't refereed in Illinois, because they're at the rink a lot. It's kind of like, myself and, Scott, you with downtown, especially. Like if anybody lives in the downtown area and doesn't know who Scott is, I'd be shocked, because you're at the rinks, all the time in that downtown North Shore area. So, but they go out, and if they don't know who you are, they'll find out who you are. Then if they have to, they'll even call you, or they'll show up at the rink and find out. And then from that list, it depends on how many people, of course, put in for it, and how then that list kind of gets taken, and it goes, all right, well, they're interested in nationals. Well, we have districts as well, and both of these gentlemen got to go to the districts as well. And some years there might be a ton of officials that put their names in that are all very qualified and are having a good season. So they may split that up and send half of them to districts and then the other half to nationals. Or in these guys' cases, they got to do both. And it happens just like that. And it's how hard you work. People recognize you, and that's how you get to go ultimately. So once you're there, you've deserved to be there. So I know where you're going to go with this, Scott. So go ahead.
Who, me? Well, how many teams did they have there, and how many officials did they have there?
Oh boy.
That's the boys.
I think there were 40 officials overall.
Wow.
I think so. There were three different divisions. I'm not sure how many teams. I think there were 16 each in the boys Division 1 and Division 2. I'm not sure how many girls teams were there.
Did you guys got to work the finals too, right?
Yeah.
Which
I was building up to that.
Oh, sorry. Did I steal your thunder, Brad?
No, I was building up to how the weekend works.
Oh, okay. Well, keep going. I'm very interested to hear. So.
All right. So after the selection process, and you're notified, right? You have to send back all this information to USA. So again, you got to keep an eye on your email, because you do need to send them some tax forms and some travel forms, because they offer different ways for you to get there, and you're compensated for your time. And so you have to get there. The pre-meeting is Wednesday night. When's the pre-meeting? I can't remember.
Well, yeah, usually Wednesday night. This year we had it Sunday night via Zoom for pandemic reasons.
Yeah, so normally you fly in. That's a good point, because this pandemic thing, it's throwing everything off. So you fly, you either fly in, drive in, you get there that Wednesday, you have a pre-meeting, the officials do, and at the same time your pre-meeting is going on, the players are having a pre-meeting. So once you get there, you're instructed on certain things, because the process changes. It doesn't change, but what they want called and emphasis throughout the season, they look at trends. So they will double up on things, or make sure that things are really watched, so they don't have an issue, because all these games are broadcasted live, which you're told about that as well. Who's got the echo?
Sounds like somebody's got something playing in the background somewhere.
Somebody's got something in the background, but anyways, no. So you have your pre-meeting where they tell you what's going on, and if you have any paperwork, you have to file it there with a supervisor. Then you have to give them an oral report if you have any issues, and then you guys are there and you go out. And then what happens? You get your assignments for pool play, correct? Then explain to me how it worked after that.
You want to go, Cannon, or you want me to go?
I can go. So basically, we have the first 3 days of round robin and pool, where all the games were assigned. They tried to line up games with maybe some officials that you haven't usually worked with in the past. That way, it just gives you a different experience. And even though, like, Scott and I have been working for multiple years together, and we work well together, etc. They put us with other people so we can kind of get a feel for how each other work, and we can maybe learn something new, different styles, techniques, skating trends, etc. That maybe they work or I work, and we can learn something new. And then the first round of the playoffs, they'll go ahead and they'll assign people on games where they think that officials worked well together and where they complemented each other in various aspects of officiating. So obviously once the quarters were completed, then depending on what seeds and what teams were in it, they went ahead and assigned us the semis as such. So obviously with New Trier being in the final or in the playoffs, they tried to keep local officials away from those teams, no matter if it was from Boston or St. Louis or Colorado or wherever it might be. They'd keep us away from those teams. That way, there's no bias or possibility or probability of bias there. So And then obviously based on, experience, your standard of play, they would put the people that they felt were best suitable for those championship games or vice versa. And, there was so many great officials there this last weekend that, any of the people there could have worked games. It was just a matter of logistics, who was still in town, and who they felt, could represent, USA Hockey the best. So we were fortunate enough to work a couple of those games.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's probably important to note too that we were limited, so we worked 2 games per day, and usually in those round robins you ref one, you line one. Every division was 4 men, so you got to be on every game, you got to be on every shift, and you're getting feedback at every game, so pretty much every play is crucial.
What were some of the things that they shared with you guys, feedback wise? I'd love to hear, what some of the evaluators, some of the comments came back to you, and some of the things that they were trying to work on with you guys.
Good.
Yeah, just definitely. I don't. So at an event like this, I don't think the evaluators are going to get on you too much about your standard or about what penalties you're calling. They want to get more on you about things about like encroachment, positioning, awareness. When a goal is scored, where you're standing when a penalty occurs, are you taking that guy to the penalty box? Little things like that. I don't think someone who's out there who's worked the game for 30 plus years isn't going to say, you know what, you missed a trip in the second period. That's not helpful. It's not helpful to anybody. It's going to happen. We're going to miss penalties, but the most important thing to me was just general awareness, positioning, and knowing your surroundings on the ice.
Yeah.
That's great. How many guys did they have out there supervising?
And then on top of that, somebody asked who were the supervisors this year for the high school nationals.
Go ahead, Scott.
So the head kind of lead assigner was Steve Tatro from Minnesota. Then we had Jordan, the referee in chief from the Midwest district. So I think he covers Kansas area, Iowa area, and then Nebraska, I think. And then another guy,
Wyoming.
Jeff from Wyoming, and another guy, Jeff from Kansas City area. He used to live in Pittsburgh. And then the other gentleman's name, we had
Mark.
Jeff and Mark. Mark was from downstate Illinois, I think from close to St. Louis area.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So a lot of those
But-
guys, exceptional knowledge, with their playing experience. I know for me, they kind of emphasize, to watch the players, always the players. When you get to this level, they wanted us to hammer, face-offs early and often to kind of set the standard, early. Same thing with penalties. Like they would never come out and say, oh, like Scott said, hey, you guys missed a trip in the second period or the first period. They were more so like, hey, you know what, just call the penalties you feel are fit for the game, watch the players. And then as the tournament progressed, we kept all those players honest, we assessed the penalties that needed to be called. We called the face-off violations that we needed to, and we watched the players to make sure that there was no activity after the whistle, and it was just something good to see. But, as the playoffs went on, we always had to be cognizant of any type of actions by players of teams that were going to be going home. And you always see that in any level, where
That's for sure.
players or teams that are going to be going home because, they might be losing by 2 or 3 goals. They have no problem kind of starting altercations and so forth. So, as linesmen, we had to get in there as quick as we could to make sure that there was no fighting majors or no penalties that could cause the team that was moving on to lack those players for the future games. But just to let everybody know, like, hey, we're going to crack down on this and we're going to prevent players from getting injured or suspended and such of that nature. So
Did you guys have any situations while you were there that like got a little out of control, or with the teams trying to go home, or not trying to go home but going home?
Yeah. And we didn't, maybe not so much in our games. I think the games that we kind of were a little bit closer from that
That always
realm.
helps. Yeah.
But once you start to get some of those lopsided scores, you know, you have a little bit more opportunity for scrums or altercations at the whistle. But I mean, there were a couple where I know a few players were suspended, but that's to be expected, you know, with high school players or any players for that nature, you know, ranging from 14 to 18 years of age, you know, so and especially in juniors too, like everybody's going to want to mix it up after the, you know, when they know their season's done and they don't have anything else to play for, that's when it happens. So we just tried to do our best to get in there.
Scott's smiling because he just got a nice comment there.
Yeah, go ahead.
Daphne's
Put that
having
up
a
there. I
great
saw
hair
it,
day.
Joe.
Yeah, we got to put that up there. Yeah, we'll put it right over his face so he can fix the hair. We don't want to lose the hair. You know, we'll just bring it down there just a little bit.
Since you brought up the supervisors,
My
Steve
headphones.
Pedro, Steve up in Minnesota, I don't know if everybody knows this, but in his local community, kids were walking to school for many years, and they needed a school bus, and they purchased a school bus to the school and whatever, and Steve is the guy that goes and picks them up. So for the community, just so that's a little personal shout out to him, to what a great guy he is, other than just his hockey side. He's a great individual as well. And I'm going to tell you this, you sit down with him, 4 hours goes by faster than this hour of this show, Scott. It's quite amazing. So the nice people that you mentioned, I haven't met Jordan yet, but eventually I hopefully will. And you know, it's nice to
that's
go out
one of
and
the
meet all
beauties
these
of
people.
hockey, man. You know, the people that you meet and the camaraderie and the conversations. I mean, that's one of the reasons Brad and I mean, really, Brad and I didn't know each other that well, other than seeing each other occasionally at a game. I mean, and here we are a year later. I mean, the conversations we have during the week are priceless sometimes, and at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. But
Wow.
you know, that's half the fun of it. And, you know, we're very grateful that you guys would join us today and talk about your experience, because I think it's got to be very cool. Not everybody's going to get the opportunity to go work a national tournament and a championship game like that. And, you know, it's great hockey. I mean, I'm guessing New Trier, did they have a great game that day? Or, I mean, they got shut out. I'm absolutely shocked. Like, when was the last time New Trier Green got shut out? Probably been a while.
I don't know. Not on any of my games.
Yeah, exactly.
Just kind of watching the game, you know, New Trier has always been an amazing team. You know, obviously they've been in state finals the last, you know, couple years, or semis.
Yeah.
Probably decade. You know, they have multiple exceptional coaches, you know, that have been around the game for years. And, you know, you look at the team from Boston or Massachusetts, you know, Gaffney's originating area on the coast there. Mm-hmm. And I think from what I remember hearing from, you know, John Murray, one of their referee and chiefs out there, he, you know, they mentioned something like 7 or 9 kids, you know, had like NCAA, you know, opportunity. And to have that kids on one team, you know, you can't fault New Trier. I mean, they played their hearts out, you know. Guys were going out, working hard, banging in the corner. And it's something that, you know, they played really well, but to get shut out by that team just says something about, you know, the championship team, you know. So
I mean, the caliber had to be incredible.
Oh,
I mean,
unreal.
New Trier can light it up, and they are so good. And I mean, you beat them, boy, you've really done something. But you know, when you hear a team like that getting shut out, you can only imagine how good that team must have been that played against them.
Exactly.
So.
And you know, talking
Scotty.
about that point, yeah, Scott, you want to go ahead or
no? Go ahead.
Talking about
Scott's
that point
arguing.
Talking about that point from our supervisor standpoint, you know, Ken and I were lucky enough to go to the Tier 1 districts as well, which is U14 up through U18, and there were some girls mixed in there too. We were lucky enough to have 2 ex-NHL linesmen there, and those guys, fantastic. I mean, the feedback, the little things that they gave us, and just their presence being there was a cool experience in itself.
So now
we got lucky.
I'll let you in on the other part of going and working at nationals or or a district playoff, those tips that you get from those NHL guys, I know you guys will do it, but this is for anybody that ever gets to go. You're supposed to pass those tips back on to your local. So when you see people doing stuff, and you're supposed to share all that great knowledge that we get from these fortunate events. So just to push out how everything's supposed to work once you go to a USA camp or a nationals, which is, it's basically a camp. You're there, you're kind of isolated. You see the same people. You learn a ton of stuff.
You didn't have to run, though. There was
no
running for you guys.
You know what? Just let's not get me started on the running.
Right.
That was horrible. Anyways, I did it.
We're all fat and old for that running nonsense.
That's right. But, they're still going to make you guys run. That's awesome. All right, so let's talk about some of the other teams that are actually going to nationals. I mean, we've got a number of them from the Chicagoland area. We got an email today, and there were quite a few of them. So we could cover that a little bit if you guys don't know. But I know Mission's got a couple teams going. CYA's got a team going. Who else is up there? The Jets have a team going for Tier 2. Yeah, Vikings have a team going, so there's some great talent from here that are going to nationals. Now, are you guys scheduled to work any of those other, like the tier games that are coming up? No, that's it.
Nope.
Okay.
No,
very
we're
cool.
done. I think we have one going that way.
Where are those games being played? Do you know, Brad? Are they going
Green
to
Bay,
Colorado or Texas or?
St. Louis is
Bay.
U16, U18, Tier 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and Green Bay, St. Louis,
Denver.
they're in Denver, right? Thank you.
Yeah.
And do we have anybody representing us at those, or do we have some more Chicago guys going out there for those games?
I know Haley said she's going to Colorado.
I know. I think we got the one. I think it's just Haley this year.
Okay. Right,
So
cool.
and they do that by need. And there's only so many spots. So as we go, we got 2 Illinois guys that went out there, and Haley was there as well. Shout out to her. I didn't forget about her, but that took up 3 spots, and there's only so many spots. So it wouldn't be fair for us if we sent 100 referees and nobody else could. So it gets spread around, and I think the main point that Dave pointed out, one of the good things is all the different officials you get to meet and work with, because we get comfortable in our areas, and I mean anywhere areas, and you get comfortable with how a game is called and how the game is played. But yet other areas, you'll hear teams complain about this. They call the game maybe a little different than they do here, which everybody's trying to get on the same playing field. But it's a difficult process to get us the same with New York and California. I mean,
what is the difference in standards? I'd be curious, like the standard that you see when you go to the national tournaments. I'm sure they're instructing you, but are you guys feeling pressure to call it by the book so tight, or are you kind of like you do your game the way you normally would, and the slash is the slash, or the trip is the trip, or do you guys kind of let them play?
Go ahead, Scott. You want me to go?
I think. Well, I'll just say a quick thing. I think that the supervisors trust that you've gotten to this point with the knowledge, and I'd say maybe you don't have to call everything by the book. You got to know the rules, but you also have to know the game. You got to know the situations you're in. Like Cannon was talking about how there might be a one-sided game, and maybe you call things a little bit differently than if it was a 1-1 game. That just kind of comes with officiating.
Situations during your games? Did you have anything that it's a good thing I knew the rule here, or did you see anything that transpired during that tournament that you guys learned something from in terms of situations?
We did hear and kind of see a situation where some things were missed when some guys came off the bench and should have been called for 5 in game. But other than that, I think you just apply the rules to the best of your ability. There's some times where you might go back into the locker room and say, "Hey, I called a 2 and 10 there. Do you think it was a 5 in game?" Or maybe vice versa. But no one's getting out there and saying, "Hey, your standard's wrong," or that. But maybe Cannon has a different take on it. But I think the supervisors kind of trust where you are at this stage you're officiating.
I know for me personally, it's something that depending on where or what state you work games in, I think that there's a different standard, of what, or different expectations of what they expect out of you. But I think ultimately, like, hockey's never really black and white. I mean, rule wise, like, it's never, well, this is a trip 100% of the time. I think the title for an official is a game manager, and it's like, you can't sit here and you can't say 100% like, hey, this is how I'm going to call the game. Obviously we're going to protect the player. We're going to call every injury potential that we see, every goal scoring opportunity, and the other stuff that's restraining, or, some of these ticky-tack fouls, the penalties we do not call are sometimes just as important as the penalties that we do call, and maybe a penalty is different in game one as compared to game three. But I think the totality of the circumstances for the overall big picture of that game is what we're trying to do, or enforce. We're trying to let the players determine the outcome instead of us just going out and calling, oh, that's a trip, that's a hook, that's, head contact. I mean, we're going to call the penalties that we see fit. And granted, sometimes, all the coaches or players want us to call a certain penalty, but what they don't realize is that, hey, we just let this one go behind the play. So, again, the overall title to me is we're the game, we're the game managers, and we're just trying to get from point A to point B, keep the players safe, and let the players determine the outcome.
All right, now I'm going to throw something out there because, we get these pretty cool questions that come in from USA Hockey once in a while with answers. And I'm going to throw this one out there. We had a little discussion about this pre-show. But a goalie makes a play to cover a loose puck in front of the net, and a skater makes a play to poke the puck into the net. The goalie covers the puck, and the player makes contact right as the goalie covers the puck. Should this be penalized as a slash since it was almost simultaneous, or is it just a stoppage? There was no significant force with the poke or violent nature in the player's motion. So how would that be called at Nationals, just out of curiosity?
Well, I think,
I don't think it matters if it's Nationals or not at that point.
Okay.
Yeah. We could sit here and...
If it's a timing play, do you call it one way versus somebody that comes in late and does it?
Yeah. He's the player is trying to score, obviously. Yeah. I don't think he's trying to hurt the goalie. So from my perspective on that play, obviously everything is depending on the situation. Yeah. Stop the play. I don't think he's going for the goalie's chest or head, but I don't think that might warrant a slash.
Well, I mean, again, like we could talk
put it up for a vote.
Yeah, let's all the guys out there.
You got 31 people watching right now.
Good
Scott.
idea.
Might as well get them involved.
Yeah, let's get you guys involved. So, how many of you guys say that that's a penalty? So, if you think it's a penalty, say yes, and if you think it's not a penalty, say no. And again, I'll read it. Goalie makes a play to cover a loose puck in front of the net, and a skater makes a play to poke the puck into the net. The goalie covers the puck, and the player makes contact right as the goalie covers the puck. Should this be penalized as a slash, or since it was almost simultaneous, or is it just a stoppage? There's no significant force with the poke or violent nature in the player's motion. What do you guys think?
Right. Now, okay, Scott, hold on. The next part is, all right, other than, because I read the email after we talked about it last week.
Right.
Who read the email? That's the question. I'm telling you, this is one of the biggest frustrations with like hockey in general, like just people, referees in general. We get a ton of data, a ton of information. And a lot of people don't take advantage of that information that we get. And it doesn't just come from USA. Like when you work in the NCAA stuff, the supervisors are constantly sending out video clips and emails. And if you don't read these things, it happens one week, and then the next week you're in a game and it happens again. Then you get what's called a nasty gram, because now they're upset because they've let you know already, and you're not reading the information. So I love that, working hard and doing all of our stuff on the ice is, crucial. But, as officials, we need to keep continuing our education. That's what they would say for doctors. We need to continue our education even a little bit by reading some emails, watching some videos, and getting with the game, because the game, the players, coaches, and officials all want to work together and be on the same page. The worst thing is when somebody goes, well, didn't you see the email? What email? Now, I get it. Sometimes they get deleted. I get that. Or sometimes you don't get them. I get that too. But, I know there's some people that do have some issues where, I never check a USA Hockey email. And then they're like, well, why didn't anybody tell me? It's like, you got the email. Oh, well, yeah, here it is. It's in my inbox. I just never read it. Well, check your email, read your email. It's not that difficult. Sorry. And most of those emails aren't very long. So
well, I brought this one up because I think this is really an interesting discussion. And if you look at the comments that come in here, I think pretty much everybody said that that's not a penalty.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I think seeing it live in real time. I mean, we could talk about penalty situations or scenarios but it's like when you have an email that talks about a play, how fast was the skater going towards the puck, how much force was used to poke the puck, where was the potential slash made, was there contact to the goaltender's chest, could it be 2 and 10 for a charge, could it be a minor rough, could it be a slash? I mean, there's so many variables without seeing the play live that makes it tough,
Yeah.
And kind of like what Brad mentioned earlier, there's so many tools at our disposal. I know like the USA Hockey junior program, the ODP program puts out videos every week about certain scenarios. I know I've tried looking for some of those online once in a while. There's actually a page on Facebook. MCM is one of the Texas websites or a Facebook page where they constantly post the ODP programs videos on there, and it's kind of cool. Like if you're not a friend with them on Facebook, you can go on there and you can like them. But every week they're posting those videos from the ODP on their personal.
Can you put that in the link, Brad, so everybody has it in the description?
You know what? I don't have it, but yeah, I'll go find it.
Yeah, if you just throw it up there so everybody can look at that, that's great. I mean, that's great information, and I have seen some of those clips from the ODP. I'm kind of surprised we don't get more of that stuff during the course of the year. I mean, we all take
Dave
take
send
the
me
test.
That link.
Okay, we all take that test, once a year, and we all study and we all cram and we all have all these conversations, and then time, kind of goes by as the season moves along, and you get the discussions, but I always thought it would be very cool if you did get some videos every now and then, sent out.
Yeah,
and there are some. You do see some as we go, but I always thought that was kind of cool.
Scott, USA's been doing weekly videos. I mean, they've missed a couple of weeks along the way because of holidays or whatever.
Yeah,
but they just had one of our Illinois guys that's going to be an instructor at the Central District camp. He was just on it, and that's going through. I always see it on Twitter.
Who was that, by the way? Was that Billy?
It was Billy Hancock. Yeah,
Billy Hancock. Okay.
Him and Stefan Renault are running the camp this year with. I can't think of the other one's name. I'm terrible with names. I won't lie.
Do you know if we're having a Central District seminar this year?
Seminar?
Yeah, will there be like a Central District seminar?
I have not heard anything about it. I do not know. If Eric's watching, the referee in chief, he might know a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I think he is actually. Eric, if you could put it in the comments, and he's got a no in there, but that's from the question we answered.
That's from the questions, I would assume since people are starting to get the thing. I don't want to say it on YouTube because then we'll get a negative rating, but since it's being readily available to people, I think we're going to see a lot more return to normal things. Plus, I think with all this Zoom and everything, And, this kind of stuff, I think you're going to see possibly some more options by local areas to do stuff. He's going to find out for us.
Yeah, thanks, Eric. Appreciate that. So this is
But,
with regard to a Central District seminar that would happen usually it's usually July or August, if I'm not mistaken. So
I think there's going to be more opportunities to learn in different settings because now everybody's kind of got a hold of this. Everybody's working.
Did you have
from
a
home.
penalty to call there, Dave? I saw your hand go up and then it
sorry,
came
go
back
ahead.
down kind of quickly.
No, I was going to say, so the Central District camp, there's a developmental one, and then there's more of like higher exposure camp. It's going to be mid-June. I think the developmental one is like June 13 to 15, and then the exposure one is 15 to 18. And I believe that's in Ames, Iowa. As Brad, I know you mentioned Steve Renault and Billy Hancock, two guys that have worked in the American for almost a decade, two amazing guys. One is a referee, one is a linesman. They're both in, I just talked to both gentlemen, a couple days ago. They're both in Dallas right now for Worlds, I believe for like the U18, games or whatever. But Jordan Crowell, who is also at Nationals for high school. Jordan.
He's the third guy.
But those are two things that if younger officials if that's what they've set their bar to get to, those are the things that, they should be emailing or talking to our referee in chief or our presidents, just getting on the radar saying, hey, maybe it's not feasible this year or next year, but to have like a 2 to 3 year plan, just to set those aspirations high, I think are amazing. And whether or not you go or not this year or next year, but just to be on the radar, to go to those those camps, just the knowledge and experience you get from talking to those individuals. And then again, just like Nationals, you're talking to other referees and everybody's stories, and you're learning so much. Just the wealth of knowledge is insurmountable, so if those are things our viewers or our local officials or national officials want to get into, those are something that, hey, reach out to your local guys and figure out ways to get on that list to get there, and just keep.
Well, and the best thing is, Dave, I did confirm your dates, and you are correct, which I thought you were. I just didn't want to speak till I confirmed it. The 13th through the 15th is developmental camp. Exposures the 15th through the 18th. The difference is the developmental camp is for the official that isn't really looking to advance. I mean, they want to be better, but they're not, they might be 40, 50, and they don't want to go to a camp and run for a week and all that. You're still gonna get
the 20-year-olds don't want to go to camp and run for a week either. Just so you know,
I know that, but I'm just saying that they're being inclusive to officials that sometimes were excluded from these types of camps, or the other part is you couldn't make the time for these camps, like guys that have full-time jobs that are in their 40s and have kids and stuff like that. They can't take a week off to go to, some USA hockey development thing. They're going to take a week off and they're going to take their kids to Disneyland. Like the guys that are in their 20s, yeah, they're willing to take that time off. They still kind of have, they might be newly married or in a serious relationship, or so they kind of their life priorities are different. So they've set up these two camps. The development one is for the people that normally wouldn't be looking to advance. The exposure camp is your first step to the national camps, which leads on to futures and stuff like that. When I was younger, I wish we would have had this in the Central District, because when I went to the USA regional camp, I didn't really know what to expect. It was out there, and it was much tougher than I had ever imagined, and I admit that 100%. And people that have gone to the Central District camp, it's basically just as hard at that exposure camp as what they're doing at the national level. The good part is The district camp, they're going to evaluate you, send you on your way. Hopefully you learn a couple things. The difference is futures camp, that could be maybe your look. So you get one shot at the futures camp. Central District, you could go more than once. I don't, see why you would, but you get the feedback, and you're not totally, counted out. I mean, you're not always counted out, but when you get your opportunity, you want to make the best impression at the USA camps. This is a more localized one, so you're still gonna get the same feedback, but just putting that out there, that it's a great step. I wouldn't skip it if you live in the Central District, because it's definitely something that back when I went to regional camp, I wish I would have went 2 years before that, because it's a tough camp. It's rough.
How many guys get to go there, Brad, each year? Like from our area? From our area.
I don't. From our area is
it an application process?
Yeah. So if anybody wants to if anybody needs any of that information, they can email me. Go ahead and pump my email.
refroombrad@gmail.com. Oh yeah. No, I don't want to do that yet, but
yeah, you can email me there, or you can find me on the IHOA page. I can get you the information. I'll get you in touch with the right people, I promise. And we'll go on from there. So
I'm curious. You guys are all, the three of you are young guys. So have any of you taken that lifetime seminar where you don't have to go test every year, or have you guys considered going to that symposium that they offer? And for those of you that are watching that aren't familiar with that, USA Hockey, I don't know if it was 2 years ago, they created a seminar that you can attend as a level 3 or as a level 4. I believe you have to have 3 years of experience, maybe more. I'm not positive on that, but I think you have to have 3 years of experience to be a level 3 or a level 4. You'd have to have 3 years to be a level 3 and more to be a 4. But if you go to this, you don't have to take the tests every year. So for somebody that's in their 20s, 30s, that's planning on reffing for many years, just think all those seminars you won't have to attend, and all those videos you won't have to watch, and all those tests you won't have to study for. But, so it's pretty nice for guys like that if you go for a weekend. So have you guys done that, any of you?
None of these guys I know.
Or any plans
I'm signed
to do
up
it?
this year. Yeah, I'm signed up this year to go to Rhode Island in the 2021 10-year
Michael
official
Novak
seminar.
says 3 years at that level 3 or 4. So you have to be a level 3 for 3 years or a level 4 for 4 years. And whatever you would go as is what you would stay. So if you went there as a 3 and you aspired to be a 4, then you would have to complete 4. You'd have to go back and test. And then I guess you could go back and get another lifetime as a 4, right? Would they allow that?
I don't know. I don't know how that works.
Yeah.
I know.
Either way, I mean, you get your 3 or 4, you get to keep it. And, that's obviously a nice way to go for you young guys.
I do know the officials that went, because I talked to quite a few of them. They actually enjoyed it. Sitting for a weekend can be somewhat a drag.
Yeah.
But they said all the speakers that came in and talked were really good. It was positive the whole time. They didn't feel like they were stretched beyond belief. And I know that they had some good times, some good extracurricular activities after the meetings.
Part of the programming. Yeah.
It's refroombrad@gmail.com.
And which one of the Russians is this that's requesting that? Is that somebody that's going to take advantage of that refroombrad@gmail.com email address?
But yeah, no, I heard it was really good. I know they gave you, I think they gave you a book bag as well. I don't know if they gave you the book bag, right? Which I'm not going to lie. For me, just to get the book bag is a sweet deal, because I carry my laptop and everything in it all the time. And I would love to have that. I didn't go because I didn't have the time to take off of work. Having the kids, see, I have that, kids and wife problem. And, those times that my wife wants to take off and the limited time I get, we're going to take the kids somewhere. So I didn't do it yet. I know it's going to move throughout the country. Like this time it's in Rhode Island. Eventually it'll get to Chicago. For sure. I know it will. Or Missouri, maybe. Yeah. I mean, it'll get
They did Minnesota, I think, the first year, right? Was that the first year? Where'd they go for the second one?
That's it.
They didn't do it.
It was It was canceled last year.
Oh,
was
we've only
it
had
was
one. I
canceled.
thought we had two. So okay, we've had one. So yeah, it'll definitely come around
just
here.
one.
You know it'll come to Chicago. We got a lot of referees here, so it'll definitely
It'll get
come.
here.
Yeah, for sure.
I know firsthand. A bunch of the guys that I do a lot of summer events with, they all did this symposium, and they didn't. I mean, they had 100% great things to say about it. Again, meeting people, and it's opportunity to maybe if you struggle with some of the skating for a level 4, skating test, that's an opportunity for you to kind of get grandfathered in to that level 4, and it's just an overall good experience. The swag you get from some of these events now, like Brad mentioned, like the backpack. I know I saw a bunch of people. Yeah, no, it's a great backpack.
Hey, I went to the district seminar. The first year we got a nice T-shirt out of it. The second time we got a water bottle. I wasn't impressed with the swag.
But funny because like this last weekend or even in regionals, a couple weeks ago, Gaffney and I we were kind of like poking fun at each other about who could get the most swag, and it's whether it's a water bottle or a puck or.
He's got swag. Show the swag, Gaff. We can't see it. You got to hold it up for a second.
Shannon's got it too.
Yeah, he's wearing it.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's nice. Very cool. Hey,
Hold
so
on.
do you guys want me to read the official answer to that question we asked earlier?
Sure, let's
Go
hear
ahead.
it.
Okay. So the question that we had asked was about the slashing penalty, should that be called? And the answer to that, the official answer is an attacking player may not make contact with the goalkeeper who is positioned in the crease. While the contact may not be malicious, players are not allowed to slash or poke any other opponent, and the goalkeeper is not an exception. So I'm not sure we were all in agreement with that, apparently, but that's what it came back as. Should we do one more of those?
What were the results?
From the
I
chat,
think
it looked like
everybody
everyone
said no. It's no
Everybody
penalty.
said no.
And I think everybody here probably agrees, but that is not the official correct answer, just so you know. Thank you for playing. All right, let's do one more. A team who's winning gets a power play. They take the puck behind their own net and do not move the puck for the entire 2-minute penalty. I think play should have been stopped and a face-off called for failing to keep the puck in motion. What is the proper call? And that's not me saying I think that. That's the question.
That's the question.
Yeah. All right. So in the comments, I'll read it one more time. Team who's winning gets a power play. They take the puck behind their own net and do not move the puck for the entire 2 minutes. Should play have been stopped and a face-off called for failing to keep the puck in motion? Yes or no? Yes, you should have stopped play, or no, you shouldn't stop play.
This one's geared at me because
put that. No, it wasn't geared at you because it was geared at you, but I don't know about that. But anyway, I had no idea. So we're not trying to embarrass any of our guests on this show, just so you know, Dave. All right. And anybody else? You guys gonna say we got a couple? We got a no. Okay, we got a few people putting their comments in.
Novak's
We got
Novak's
don't
got the
stop
same
play.
answer I
We got
got.
one that says stop play.
That's-
Keep
yeah,
the
that's-
clock rolling.
agree.
Shorthanded team needs to work on their forecheck. Yeah, that's probably right. Game management. Agree with that. Okay. All right. So we'll let you guys take another minute to pop. Get some more people joining us. And all you guys that are joining us, we thank you for joining us. Got a nice group on here today. Lots of great participation. Okay.
You see that one?
Yeah, let's just we'll pop
I
a
give
couple
the
of these
other
up.
team,
I gotta
team
put
a
the
penalty for not chasing down the puck.
Yeah, exactly.
Creative
right, so-
refereeing right there.
So let's see what we got here. Mike Anderson says game management. Mr. Novak says keep the clock rolling. Shorthanded team needs to work on their forecheck.
awesome.
Mike says no. The Russian says stop play.
I love the Russian.
Max says agree with Novak. Laugh out loud. Facebook user who didn't click the link says no, stop play.
It's up there. The link
Mark
is up
says
there.
I'd give the other team a penalty for not chasing down the puck. So he says no penalty. All right. Anybody else want to put their comment in here? You want to talk about this a little bit, guys? What's your thoughts here?
I was 100% with Gaffney. If you're on the power play, you're just killing off the power play. Like,
Yeah.
go ahead, have at it. Like, I'll let you stand there. You know, I mean, unless I'm losing, so I'd have to go get it. I mean,
yeah, I mean, if nobody wants to go chase the guys, I don't know too many teams that would do that. I'm sure it's probably happened because obviously it's a question that's been put out there. And, you know, there always was, like, you know, the idea that you should try to keep the puck in motion, that we should have movement of the play. But, you know, it's your power play. If you don't want to go score, I guess you don't have to try to go score, right? Do you have to keep that puck in motion or not? So I'm going to give you the answer to this, but then this is going to segue into another conversation we had with regard to this a few minutes ago before we came on the air. So the official answer to this is, I have to unlock my phone to get it, of course.
Penalty delay game.
Yeah, I have a delay a game, right?
delay game.
There is no rule in the USA Hockey playing rules that mandates a team must advance the puck up the ice. However, there is also no rule that prevents a team from executing a forecheck to force a player to leave from behind their own goal. So, you know, if you don't like them standing there, then you need to go attack them so that they move. That's basically the answer. I would agree with that, but I think there would be a question from a lot of guys because you would think that the puck needs to be in motion. And so that brought us to the next question, and this is not from anything that came in. This was just the discussion we were having. This was amongst us after we looked at that question. Because what would you guys say if, you get the last 20 seconds of a game, a tight game, 15 seconds, 5 seconds, whatever it is, a guy tries to scoot that puck up against the board and make the V with his skates to try to keep it there. And now you've got an easy penalty if nobody goes after him. If all the players are smart enough to just stop what they're doing and leave him there, then he might try to drag the puck along the boards a little bit, but you could probably penalize him for delay a game in that situation. But that never happens because the guys never do that. Instead, they send 3 guys after him, and now he's got 3 guys on him. So now he has a legitimate reason to not be able to move the puck because 3 of the attacking players are all over him and he's working the boards. So what is the correct answer there in terms of how you should handle that? So go ahead, Brad.
Well, I got the rule, okay, because since we started talking about this,
I
wanted to read exactly what it states, okay?
Okay, yeah.
A minor penalty for delay game shall be assessed to any player who intentionally falls on the puck, causing a stoppage of play, okay? That's kind of easy. You got the face-off, they fall on it in order to trap it. We get it.
Yep.
A minor penalty for delay of game shall be assessed to any player, including a goalkeeper, who holds or freezes the puck along the boards or goal frame in any manner causing a stoppage of play. So they have to cause a stoppage of play. Keep going. Keep your debate going live.
Okay.
Look up puck in.
So the puck is
That's
in
what
when
I
the
meant.
guy is trying to advance it. He might be advancing it 6 or 8 inches at a time, but he's making an effort. And it's an easy call if everybody would back off, but you never see a team that backs off. No team is smart enough to go back off so he gets the penalty.
Aha. So somebody in the Facebook user got what you should be doing. You should be talking to that player, telling them to move the puck.
Right. Move the expletive puck.
You should be talking to them to move the puck. If they don't move the puck and you're forced to cause a stoppage, a penalty will be assessed. But in the situation manual, it tells you to, tell them to get it moving. I'll tell you this, in 22 years, I've had players put it up against the boards, and the second you start talking to them, they'll move it. They normally don't. I mean, I've never been forced to call it. I don't know if anybody else has. I think at this point, we've been talking a lot about game management, nationals, and all this stuff. And it doesn't matter if it's a national game or not. That's a part of game management that a lot of people don't realize is that their ability to just talk. The players sometimes, if they're in front of the net and they're getting close to where you're going to penalize somebody, they're leaning right on the edge. Hey, 22, stop it with the stick. They hear you.
Yep.
They'll stop. Like
Yep.
it's not coaching them, but it's just managing the game because, sometimes players get a little carried away, or in this case, they're trying to make a smart decision, which I get it. They're trying to protect the puck and not get scored on. But just a little verbal, hello, hey, we're still playing a hockey game. It'll clear itself up 99.9% of the times. And in 22 years, I've never had to call it.
All right, so let's just throw a little curveball at this, because there's usually a question that's asked every year, and that would be, is it a stoppage? When a player has the puck up against the boards like that, maybe there's a couple players, but somebody's going to come in and try to blow somebody up. You're supposed to stop play. And
No.
what's that? No.
I was saying, yeah. This situation is debated up and down every year. It's typically either on the level 2 or the level 3 test.
Yeah, I think it's on the 3.
It's come back many times. It's not going anywhere. All right. But the proper answer is to avoid any injuries. You can stop play. If you know that somebody's coming in, you can tell if they're coming in and they're going to cream them just for the point of creaming them. Yeah. You are absolutely allowed to stop that play and avoid that collision. Yeah. Okay. So it's kind of like a delayed offsides where a player is going to come in and cream the guy that has the puck, and you shut it down before he gets to him because you want to avoid that collision. You don't want somebody to get hurt. And, as much as it sounds annoying that you'd have to stop that play, or sometimes you can tell. And you know what? If you're going to err on the side of safety, if any coach complains, just say, you know what? I thought this guy was going to get killed.
Player safety.
Where I was looking at it,
safety is a great answer always.
And I'm going to tell you, and I'm not making that like that's your go-to answer, but anybody that doesn't understand that needs to definitely re-examine what they're doing, because number one thing that we're doing out there is making sure the players are safe. Number two is making sure the game is fair. Player safety, player safety, player safety. I will hammer that into anybody's head 365 days a year for 50 years. Yep. Player safety. So, yes, you can stop that play.
Absolutely. Any guys got anything else you want to bring up? We got any questions for these guys before we start to wrap it up? Because that hour goes pretty fast, I'm telling you.
It goes quick. And the other thing is, I don't know if Dave and Scott thought we're going to be on here the whole hour.
Well, yeah. Again, you put hockey guys together in a conversation, nobody's going anywhere. It usually starts like this, and usually there's a couple of adult beverages that accompany it for a good conversation. But at noon,
if your state is open, yes.
Noon, it's kind of tough to do that. But yeah, that's the case. I think. See, we must be getting famous because now we got the spammers coming on board.
The computer
they're watching the
program.
show. Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, I think we can actually block those. So we'll find a way to get those blocked because you can actually do that. Oh, and they're coming in from Twitch, which is even more interesting. So, by the way, you guys can watch us on Twitch, and Twitch is a great way to do it. Let's see if there's anything else we need to cover. Well, we do this every Wednesday, guys, so we do this at noon, so thank you for checking out the show. It's live from Chicago with Brad and myself, and thank you to Scott Gaffney and Dave Cannon for joining us today. A couple great officials that you can always enjoy working with. And Karen says infamous. Yes, infamous is correct.
And again, to all the officials working nationals, not just our locals, congratulations. Enjoy it. Have fun. That week goes by real fast.
Yeah, let's throw one more congratulations out there to Kendall. Why don't you tell us about Kendall? Because she got the Ben Allison Award. Do you want to fill us in on that, Brad?
Kendall Hanley got the USA Hockey Ben Allison Award. And Ben was a local official here in Illinois. And tragically, he was taken from us at a very, very young age. And they honored him by creating an award for the kind of person he was and his work ethic. And they try to select someone every year that it resembles Ben and his work ethic. And I can't really think of somebody else that would be less deserving than Kendall and the people that are already on there. You know, we had Shane Gustafson on.
Yep.
He was Ben's, best friend. And, he was the recipient of that the first year. And his parents also do a scholarship program. And it's kind of run between them. And then we have a representative that helps out. I believe they opened that up to the entire Central District this year. But unfortunately, the timeline has passed already to get that in. You have to have 2 letters of recommendation. They look at your grades. They look at what you do in the community. They look at your officiating. And then they make the decision on who's going to receive that scholarship for the year. But this one's through USA Hockey. And, congratulations to Kendall. Congratulations to anybody
if you guys
that's never
don't know
gotten
Kendall, Kendall was here in Chicago for a couple of years and skated a lot of games. She's great to work with. She works really hard out there. She's a great skater, loves the game, and, always had a lot of fun with her. As a matter of fact, I'm the first person that took her to Johnny's Beef in Elmwood Park. Turned her on to a Johnny's Beef after a game. So that's the way to do it. That was like, welcome to Chicago. Now you know where the real good street food is. So if you guys are from out of town and you like Italian beef, you got to go to Johnny's, right? So we give them a free plug. They don't give us free sandwiches, but we'll give them a free plug because it's good.
And if you're from out of town and you don't know what an Italian beef is, try one.
Yeah, you'll be hooked instantly. All right. Well, guys, again, thanks for joining us. If you like the show, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/refroom and buy us a cup of coffee. We'd love that. Help support the channel because we do have expenses here. And so for those of you that have done that before, we certainly appreciate it. And thank you for it. Guys, thanks again for joining us. We will see you next week on The Ref Room. That leaves us with this.
Thanks for watching The Ref Room. If you have an idea for an upcoming show or guest, hit us up. Just email us, refroombbrad@gmail.com.
There's your free plug, Brad. Right to your email.
There you
Send
go.
Brad some spam. I'm sure that spammer from Twitch will get a hold of you. Brian says congrats to Scott and Dave. Let's put that up before we go. All right. And
Haley.
how about buy me a beef sandwich? Yeah, actually, Mark,
Haley.
we could change that to buy me a pizza or buy me a beer, but we just thought we'd keep it, PG friendly since it's like noontime. So that's why we chose to go with the buy me a coffee. It just seems a little more friendly. And Brian, thank you for watching. Appreciate you. I'll see you this weekend. I believe. I think we're supervising something somewhere together at some point or observing whatever we were calling it this week. But all right. Appreciate your time, guys. Have a great week, everybody. On behalf of the Ref Room, we will see you next Wednesday.